Hi, everyone. I literally only just noticed like 4 seconds counting down there as I was rapidly inserting peanuts into my mouth. So there we go. Now we return to Goblin Quest. We're at the second task of our 3-task quest, which is, of course, as is the middle bit in all quests, marketing and promo. You are putting the band back together to put on a performance for Boss Bluggersnick. And so far it's been pretty good. You've got some good instruments, a rusty pipe, a tied up gnome and the decapitated head of his brother, a sword with which to thrash yourself. And you've also managed to dispose with your music of a weird undead walrus skeleton. So far, so by the numbers, D&D, standard questing, I think it's safe to say. Oh God, we're all shuffling around to how we were before. That's fine. Inga, have you changed hat? And is that because you now think that hat is more vampire-y?
Yes, of course.
I mean, it's supposed to keep the sun off you, right? So
nice. So there we go. Our next stage is to come up with a band name and then fulfill that band name in some way so that you can be justified in having that band name and not be a bunch of goblin posers. So with that in mind, we use the same round as before, and I believe Inga and Holly have gone this round, but the other people haven't. And there's something bad carried over, which is that you might be haunted by something for a bit because you definitely annoyed something in that spooky mine. Does anyone want to jump in, or are we leaving it to fate? That seems like a vote for fate to me. And it's Justin with Fester the Flatnose.
yeah. Well, this is going to be difficult. Fester is quite reserved, and so Fester is just going to be suggesting that all one by one to all of the other members of the group that it should be like, of course, and the goblins, or it should be Flunk and the goblins, or it should be, basically everyone else they should be the, until we find somebody who agrees with this. That's the plan.
Okay.
So,
is this still taking place in the haunted mine, or are you all just kind of ambling out of it now as it's collapsing behind you?
I mean, ambling out sounds like a good idea.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, and this has something bad on it, remember? So
cool. So I rolled with the something bad, a 4 and a 2. So that's something good and a injury.
Okay. Do you want it narrated, or do you want to?
Well, I think, I've given everyone a bit of a boost. We already felt pretty good, but Fester saying, maybe the band should be named after. Maybe the band should be named after you. Is maybe that brings everyone up a bit. So there's something good. Whoever goes next might feel like, well, maybe we don't do that. But I'm glad that the team spirit is all pushing together.
Sure.
And probably while doing that, maybe getting hit by a piece of debris from the mine, or
perhaps the last spiteful act from this weird spirit inside the mine was to send a bit of walrus tusk spinning out. That after you've made your suggestion, you notice there's a bit of a pain in the back of your head because there's now a 3-inch lump of walrus tusk embedded into the back of your skull.
It wouldn't have been an injury, and apart from the haunted, so that makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Has Fester got 1 HP? Has he taken any damage?
They've taken 1 damage. Which was that?
Was
the thing.
Okay.
This is the thing.
Sure.
That does damage.
Sure. Okay, so we've got John and Stephen left. Any takers?
Well, on the one with the metal pipe, so it would be Pig Hitter and the goblins.
But we can't just be the goblins.
It's obvious
we're all
with goblins. Right, so Pig Hitter and the Wizard Slayers. Pig Hitter and the saw some rats.
I think there could be something onto this with the sauce and rats. I think we could definitely try and do some that.
I love the range of achievability in that in those two options.
How about we go in the hang on. How about we go in the middle and go for like rat butchers, you know?
Rat butchers or wizard seers.
With two E's or with
Like we could look at a wizard, or we could butcher a rat.
Pig hitter and the we saw some wizards. I think that has a lot of. I think you could make a prog band now and call it that.
It's
Pig lizard and
decided.
the wizard gizzard have anything to do with anything. Okay.
Pig hitter and the wizard seers to the tower.
Okay. That seems like a roll.
That's a role that's going to include incredible hubris and the drive for celebrity.
And also something good inherited from Fester, I believe.
That's good. I mean, like I would say that bin lunging could be useful when we get to the tower, but there's probably some travel there, right?
Yeah, and this is just the see how well the name has gone down.
Okay, there's some inherited something good. Let's have a look then. That comes out with the modifications as a 4, 5, 6. So that's something good and 2 victories.
So 2 victories there for the band name. And I think we could definitely say with 2 victories, our band name is definitely going to be Pig Hitter and We Saw Some Wizards.
And we saw some wizards.
So there we go. And I think there's something good. You know, you're just Stephen, have you got any? I was just going to say you're buoyed up by the actual choice being made, but go for it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just like it's like I will throw it over to you, but I just imagine it's going to be like a successful.
You've got a purpose.
Brief trip to the tower.
Yeah. Fester, you got your hand up?
I just have a question. Is it tempting fate to leave Pig Hitter in the name? Because by the time we get to perform tomorrow, that's a long time away when we perform.
I don't understand. What could possibly be the problem?
Maybe just itchy skins and the wizard seers. Just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can hit a pig. It doesn't need to be pig hair.
Well, I'm Pig Hitter. He holds up his unusually large, pink, soft hands. Like, he's got like human hands.
If one of your siblings takes over, we could be stuck with Big Shitter and the wizard seers.
Oh, we still call ourselves pig hair.
Yeah. Anyway, nothing bad's going to happen. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay then, John, it is your go, and you are approaching the Black Tower of the Wizards to see a wizard. And I think there's something good as well because everyone's feeling pretty happy about it.
Okay.
Oh, just to confirm as well, by the way, Holly, sorry, your current goblin does not have a class, which will tell you when your goblin class is arriving.
I'd assumed that because it hadn't been mentioned. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like there's the wizard's tower and then maybe like a fence around.
I think it's safe to say they probably have a fence precisely placed to keep exactly you kind of people out of here.
Yeah, so I think in order to see some wizards, we need to try and get a vantage point over the fence or find a hole in the fence. So I'm going to find a way past the fence.
Okay, to get past the fence around the wizard's tower. Okay, so you've got something good, and let us know if you've got any extra dice or anything.
I'm going to say that maybe I find a small hole, or try and find a small hole, and Wink is double jointed, so he can squeeze through quite small gaps.
Okay, sure, yeah. God, I hope you roll a double 1 on this. Because what could go wrong with trying to fit yourself through a hole in a double jointed fashion?
Was it something good on there? Did you say?
Something good is on there, yeah.
That's 5 and a 7, I'm afraid.
5 and a 7?
I also wanted to fail. But
Okay. I have something, but if you want to take it, you can take it.
I think what you've come up with will probably be funnier than what I've come up with. So
Maybe.
I
Um,
imagine just like a small hole, a lot of scrabbling, a lot of like and like about 10 minutes of grunting noise. And then from the other side, as far as the other goblins are concerned, like a few small footsteps, and then just the gate right next to the hole swings open.
Well, actually, what I was thinking, if you want me to
Go for it.
do it, because you just succeeded this stage with 3 successes, because it's 5 difficulty. So I think what happens is that you cram yourself into this hole and kind of try and make your way through it, and you kind of just poke your eyes up the other side to see a pair of feet clad in soft felt shoes. And your eyes go up to see kind of a wizard, pointy hat, big long beard, one weird eye that looks a little, I don't know, a little cephalopodian for your taste, standing there looking at you and then peering over the fence going, "What are you doing here? You're not meant to be here. Bugger off."
Wizard! Scurry back out.
Cool.
Sure. That's that stage. Achieved. You definitely saw a wizard. So now you are, at least for the moment, Pig Hitter and the We Saw a Wizard. Maybe that'll change. Maybe it won't. Depends if Pig Hitter's replacement can hit pigs to satisfaction, I suppose. But we move on to our next stage with a fresh round. And that is finding your costumes.
Cool.
So has anyone got an idea and wants to go first? Or shall I roll?
I have an idea, because the
Go
maggot
for it.
eaters are known among goblins for unnerving number of very strange piercings in odd places and occasionally with odd things. So obviously, Wink considers himself an expert at piercing body parts, and so has volunteers to apply any piercings that anyone wants, because they look really cool.
Isn't Wink merely an expert in being impaled?
I mean, someone's got to do the other piercings.
You know, impaler and impalee.
Yeah.
Is that
You have to-
two tenses in Latin or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been pierced, so he knows how to not do it, right?
He's seen a lot of
Vampires
festering piercings.
Vampires not a fan of the whole impaling thing.
Well, I've
Bless
never heard of a vampire who does
you.
impaling.
Traditionally, vampires have want nothing to do with impaling.
Of course.
Can I roll
Okay.
to try and convince the rest of the
Of
goblins
the other
to get
goblins
piercings?
to get piercings. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, and I'm gonna take an extra dice for my quirk of strange piercings, so I can go,
Mhm.
look at it, look. There's no modifiers on it, are there?
Nope. No.
4 and a 2. So something good, and I get injured.
Sure. Do you want to take that one? This one?
I think maybe at one point, I'm extolling the virtues of being pierced and be like, look, they're really tough, like this. Ah! You can have this one.
So the good thing is that someone has one of your piercings with
Yeah.
a bunch of skin and flesh attached to it to use for their costume for their next role. But obviously, the negative is that you just grievously wounded yourself by pulling out a part of your own body.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that one of the reasons that goblins are so killable is because their bodies don't really fit together that well because they've just been brewed out of mulch. So, it's just a case they trip the wrong way and their foot falls off. Or they lift a rock a bit too hard and one of their fingers just collapses or whatever. So it all seems to fit for me. Anyone particularly want to go next using part of one of Wink's gore-covered piercings as part of their costume?
I don't know about using it as costume, but I think, of course, it's very attracted by the blood dripping off of that piercing. Takes it off of Wink and sucks on that piercing.
Like, is it like kind of sucking on that piercing to like to help you think about where to get costumes?
Yes, and
or what kind of
think,
costumes?
Right, so listen, I think I've got a great idea here. We're the wizard seers, right? And wizards wear robes, which is totally my aesthetic as well. So I think that's something there. And maybe also we see them. So maybe there's we have glasses or something, like goggles or glasses.
Pester's so on board with this. This is we're of one mind.
Absolutely.
Goggles and robes, yeah.
So if it's thinking about where you could get goggles and robes, then Inga, do you want to take that role with a something good, right? And obviously, given that it's a vampire aesthetic you're going for here, because as we all know, vampires wear robes and goggles. Obviously, take that extra die and whatever else you think applies.
So it's a 2 to 3, but that makes a 3 and a 4 with something good. So it's a something bad and a something good.
Okay. Well,
that's something good overall, right?
Over to you.
Over to me. I think the something good is just that we've decided on our aesthetic, right? Yeah. We're all going to wear robes and goggles. Justin?
No, I don't interrupt you, but I want to go next after this bit.
Yeah. So we've decided on what we're going to look like, and now take that something good point, presumably to the next person, to either roll where to find these things, or also roll a something good and leave me stuck in infinite narrative limbo loop. So, Justin, save us.
What I want to do is, I know that the wizards have a laundry place where their laundry goes, and I would like to dig into this place so that, maybe it's like a wall, but I'm good at digging, and so I'd like to dig into this place to get into the wizard's dirty laundry so that
Absolutely.
We can do this.
So that'll get you the robes, right? Maybe not the goggles, but it'll get you the robes.
Yeah. So I would like to take...
Did something bad happen as well, by the way? So I guess the roll doesn't move forward,
a
or
good
just
thing
it cancels out.
A good thing and a bad thing equals a good thing.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just for the roll. But yeah, okay. But good.
No.
I would like to take, obviously, my digging expertise... maybe a collector. I would take only something of true value, like a wizard's robe would be a real item of clothing that is smelly, but is actually clothes.
That would be unimaginably valuable to goblins.
I mean,
the smell be extra.
Yeah. Like I say, unlike many other games where you kind of have to persuade the games master to give you extra dice, I'm happy for you to just take them, because each extra die you take is one step closer to horrible death.
And it's something good, right? So it's +1.
Yes. Yeah.
So I get 1 success and 2 something goods,
which is just a something good for these purposes.
Okay,
but yeah,
well, fine.
Okay. So what do you want to take this?
So Festa starts pulling out bricks from this wall. They're crumbling. They were made by orcs. Wizards don't build their own towers, so so these things are shoddy. And we a number of wizardy robes are in a smelly hamper, and we can scuttle out with them. I think that's really all. I think it's a roaring success.
Absolutely. You've got some what they definitely fit on you as robes. But just part of me thinks, like, if the wizards are sending stuff to a laundry, like a nearby little crappy orc building, like you said, and they're big enough to be a robe on a goblin, but on a wizard, I don't know. In my head, I just have the feeling that you're all wearing wizard underwear.
I mean, obviously, that's what's happening.
Yeah. But to you, the unimaginable poly cotton blend glory of wizard Y-fronts, which probably have, the wizards have been here trying to kill the forces of good for a long time. They're all a bit worn at the bottom. So just they're all through that.
They're all Slytherin, right? Slytherin branded.
Sure.
Underwear.
Sure. I think that's definitely a victory of sorts. So there we go. Who else have we got? I've kind of lost track of this right now. John went first, then Inga, then Justin. So it's Holly and Stephen. Do either? If both, shall I roll then? If both,
Go on.
Unless
I'm happy to concede. I'll concede.
Okay,
concede.
cool.
Stephen concedes. So Holly.
So we need goggles, and that means getting some glass that's roughly like circular shape. So we're going to go back to the junk pit, and Flunk is going to try and find the bottoms of some bottles.
I was going to suggest exactly the same thing, except sneaking into the backyard of the Dun Inn.
Yes, genius. Yes, we do that. We do that.
That's why he's the front man.
That's why Pig Hitter's the pig hitter. So, was there anything good or bad from the last one, Justin? Or
it was something good.
Yeah, something good.
Yeah.
Something good. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think any of mine kind of works.
Sure.
Unless going to the back of the Dun Inn counts as a new location, given that I haven't been there yet. So I can
is Flunk like an explorer?
Yeah.
Or something. Okay. It's entirely up to you.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. Cool. Right. So that is a 4 and a 5. So we get something good and a victory.
Okay. Do you want to narrate that, or do you want something from me?
Okay. So I find the bottles, and I most of them are already whole. So what Flunk is going to do is just start smashing bottles to get lots of bottoms of bottles to hand out liberally.
Sure.
And is also going to find some string or something to tie them together with.
Sure, because we definitely do need some more stuff to do for this, because we are only 2 out of 5 in victories. So we I think we have some broken bottoms of beer bottles, some wizard's underwear to use as robes, but it definitely needs something.
It needs something more. Yeah,
it needs something more, and I think obviously Pig Hitter as the frontman is the man or the goblin thing. To maybe come up with the next logical step in the costuming.
I've got it. These robes, we need glamour. They need to shine and sparkle. And you know what can make things all shiny and sparkly? I know a snail. I know a snail pit near here. We can throw them in with the snails, and they will glisten in the light.
Fuck yeah!
That's great. You know what? I, of course, is obviously loving the sound of this, because, as we all know, being glittery and sparkly is very much a vampire thing. So, off to the snail pit to douse the wizard's underwear in snail mucus.
Yes, I do not think that I have anything that can add to that. That is,
you don't have snail mucus dousing. It's a skill.
No,
but I think you've got something good carrying over, right?
Okay.
Is it? Holly, did you have a something good? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so just the 1 dice. Well, with the something good, that turns into something bad.
Okay. Sure. I've got something, but it's up to you.
I was thinking maybe Pig Hitter slips on the edge of the snail pit and falls in and needs rescuing.
Yeah. So basically, I was going for something similar. So basically, the result of the situation is you are where you were before, only A, now you're at the snail pit, and B, Pig Hitter and all the robes are stuck in the snail pit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the robes, because obviously rescuing Pig Hitter alone, who cares, right? But like,
Yeah, absolutely.
The robes are in there
Absolutely. There we go. We're up to a new round. Is anyone going to jump in, or shall I random it?
I would like to braid my glorious long hairy locks to let down my hair for Pig Hitter to climb back up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That sounds like a positive. Well, this is something bad. So, but you got to have an extra die for hairy, right? At least. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
So 6 and a 5 becomes a 5 and a 4. So something good and a success.
Sure. Do you want to narrate? Or should
I think something good. Maybe does Pig Hitter gets up with at least one of the robes. I don't know how many more victories we still need to get, so maybe it's not all. I'll let you decide, Matt. But
it's no. I'll say in the future, like I did with the previous one, that like shall we just say that if you hit the successes, then I narrate, because otherwise it risks like being, and you have not. You have not completed this task yet, so
yeah. All right, yeah. Well, so we get up with some number of robes. He gets up with some number of robes.
So the robes and Pig Hitter are out of the snail pit. The robes are a little bit glittery. Some might call it slimy and covered with iridescent mucus, but
these robes are exactly the same as they were before.
To each their own. To each their own. But everyone is obviously buoyed up by the success of Pig Hitter's recovery. Open to anyone but Inga. Or shall I roll? I will roll. Justin, the next step, you have some slimy robes, but it's still not quite there. The slimy robes and the bottoms of the beer glasses that probably make you bleed horribly as you push them into your face.
I think a good aesthetic is if we had some kind of war paint on us, but that seems dangerous to get. And easier would simply be to bruise ourselves until we become like we develop a nice patina.
Okay, so your next step in costuming yourself for the gig is to just thoroughly flagellate yourselves.
Yeah, I mean it's part of my act anyway.
In the face.
But, yeah,
Sure,
I mean, primarily the face, because that's the bit. If it looks good,
I was gonna say, like, how is your clutch not like the masochistic or something? But then I realised you are the flat nose, and maybe this explains why.
You've just been beating yourself in the face over and over.
I just think it's very slapstick. It's very enjoyable.
Sure.
So, yeah, I've got nothing that would help with this.
But you do have something good on the roll.
Well, then let's give this a go. I don't injure myself, but something bad. So it's not a big winner. This, Fester is now bruised, but it's not really the aesthetic that we're going for.
I would say, the something bad is that the other goblins have just watched you with maybe no actual outward explanation thoroughly thrash yourself in the face. For no seeming reason whatsoever. And there's just a sense of, disappointment, but also just confusion among the group as they watch you complete this.
I don't think it's a very good idea to hit ourselves in the face.
Oh, you think? There's
what do
much.
You think? Does it look good?
No. If you're going to do war paint properly.
Pig Hitter is just going to reach down into the nearest pile of poo. and demonstrate how war paint is done.
Yeah, and there is a lot of poo around here because, as every goblin knows, if there's anything that helps you poo, it's the calm relaxation of watching hundreds of snails glide slickly over each other in a frenzy of mating.
Right? You practically have
yeah.
no choice in the
It's
matter.
like a waterfall or something, you know. It's soothing. So, Pig Hitter, with that in mind, roll your whatever dice you think apply, and also apply something bad to it.
I can't. I mean, I'm trying to work out if I can stretch big, soft, pink hands for the applying.
No, you can hold a lot of poo.
I can. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Oh no! Look, I will encourage you to take as many dice as you can with a -1 on them.
Sure. Oh, we're on a bad thing as well.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, everyone's just super disturbed that they watch Festa beat.
I can't believe this plan has got a bad thing. It sounds like such a good idea.
Okay, with a bad thing, that comes down to a 3 and a 4. So something good.
That evens out as a good thing.
Yeah.
Me or thee to take this one.
Well, maybe just we'd managed to all successfully apply poo to our faces in a way that makes us feel pretty motivated. I guess that doesn't count as costume, though, right? Like, doesn't actually help us.
Maybe you realize it's not actually really. It's not whether or not it's a viable costume, but just as a group, it's really helps you bond.
Maybe only the front man needs it.
Yeah. And that's given, or that's given everyone else that, that confidence that Pig Hitter was the right choice. Right. This is a goblin who knows how to put poo on his face.
Yeah, sure. I've got the crayons.
So at this point, Flunk has a potential idea. Now, some of these snails glow a little bit weirdly, but so do all of Flunk's clutch, because we're not doing well in the radioactive sense.
you literally could just leave it because we're not doing well.
Yeah. So what Flunk is going to try is kind of charging up the slime a little bit by just kind of rubbing themselves over the ropes.
Yeah, sure.
And see how that goes.
To give themselves a nice, healthy glow.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, healthy glow.
Sorry, are we rubbing ourselves on Flunk or on the snails?
I mean, Flunk is going to rub themselves on the robes, which are currently covered in snail mucus. If you want to rub yourselves on Flunk to add additional glowing to this, you're welcome to. But,
sure.
Yeah.
It's just making it pop, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Roll your dice with a something good then.
Okay. I'll add 1 for slightly radioactive. I don't think anything else applies.
Sure.
Okay, we're good. So that's it works out to a 4 and a 6 with the something good.
Okay. Me or you?
No, you go ahead.
I go ahead. Okay. Well,
I want to hear you describe me writhing around on some mucus-covered ropes.
Oh, maybe off stream, Holly. So I think our victory definitely has to be that the robes are now peak, right? It isn't going to get any better than wearing wizard Y-fronts coated with a slightly glowing, irradiated snail slime. They have peaked. Nothing more can be added to those. That's the real base of this. And now all you have to do, right, and the key word here is accessorize. Okay, you have a frontman smeared in orc shit. You have jagged beer bottles to jam into your eye sockets. But really, there's just one more step to make this all really come together. And there's only one goblin left to do it, brackets this round, and that is Wink the Maggot Eater. So, Wink, bring this all together, bring it home, create that look.
Right.
No pressure.
I think if we're going to look really impressive, then we need to look big, right? Just big. So we need to find some sort of very impressive shoes that will make us
Yes.
look taller.
Yeah, sure.
So
Going full platforms on this.
yeah.
What about a very tall hat?
mm,
We'll go with the shoes.
okay. I think I'd rather have the shoes because then I look like I feel taller as well. Now to find those shoes, I think I might go and look for some large but flat-looking rocks and something to tie those rocks to my feet.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's probably quite a few snails like rocks. The snail pit probably has some lovely rocks right on the edge of the really long drop into the snail pit.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
So,
and then I might be able to use, instead of finding rope, I might be able to use the slime to stick the rocks to my feet.
now that's thinking with portals. So, Wink the Maggot Eater is going to try and glue some big rocks onto their feet with snail slime. You've got something good carried over, I think, right, from Holly.
Yep.
So, whatever dice you think apply.
I don't think I have anything to add to it, but I am going to roll with the one that looks like slightly radioactive snail slime.
Sure.
There was a 5. That's
There
one
we
victory.
go. And that brings us to to a completed stage. So I'm not going to get complex with this. I just think that a big gaggle of goblins walk out of the area of the snail pit, looking like the absolute bee's knees. You know, you take them in like a shot in a film that rolls up. First, you have the occasionally bleeding feet fused to the bottom of the goblin's feet with what it has to be said is slightly caustic snail slime that's now really blurred the lines between where the rock starts and where the goblin foot ends, rolling up to those faintly glowing, slightly radioactive wizard Y fronts that are kind of just dripping gently with snail slime. The bottom of beer bottles embedded firmly into their eyes, which can only help them see. And of course, Pig Hitter has smeared lots of orc excrement on his face. Maybe if we're being honest, some of the other goblins are starting to doubt now that might be a good idea, and certainly no one else is in a hurry to do it. But whatever pushes your frontman into that position of, fame, glory, terror, disgust, amazing. Amazing. So we have one stage left in this task, and that is posters and flyers. You got to get this thing advertised, And again, what could go wrong with that? As anyone following track and knowing that there's one misfortune in each task will acknowledge, what could possibly go wrong. So we are back round to a blank round again now. So does anyone have an idea for flyers and posters, or should I roll? Justin.
Festa and the flat noses generally just make things dirtier, and I think that means that they're good at smearing, just with their hands and fingers on things. Can't write. Wouldn't say I could write, but pictures of the band and instruments and an arrow pointing to the direction which we'll probably play in are all things that we could do.
Which I love that, given the next stage is finding a place to do it.
I think can we agree now the rough geographic area will do it, and then we need to find where in that.
Shall we just say that you can put an arrow to the last place you saw Boss Bluggersnick?
Yeah.
Or may not be where the gig is.
Yeah.
Follow our own arrows to then find a stage later. It's going to work out.
Yeah, I think we. but Festa needs ideas about other things that will, I can draw with the filth on my hands.
You can
Everyone knows
smear
that.
dirt on the walls until the cows come home, but
But
what
if
to smear?
advertising was as simple as just putting stuff on a place, anyone could do it. So I'm going to practice my
if
smearing.
advertising was that simple, then anyone in our society, even the very worst bereft of creativity idiots, would go into advertising, and clearly that's not the case. So, Justin, what you need is some green sky thinking, right? And Festa is the goblin to start that process.
Oh, I have examples of words from the page, so I might also copy some of those out too. So I'm going to take that as a
absolutely.
Even if I can't read them, neither can the people who are going to be coming to the gig.
Exactly. So what's that, like 3 dice without any modifiers?
Hobgoblins probably could read them, but we don't want them turning up anyway. All right, so it's got good and bad.
I was going to say 3 dice when you're only on 1 hit point is, this is going to be an exciting roll potentially.
So Festa is going to die in this example, in this thing. Something bad is also going to happen, but there is going to be a success.
Okay. Do you want me to narrate that?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Absolutely. So, let's have a look on the map for where you might be near. So you said we've been to the Dunning. Let's say this. There's a slime lake here, and I can't help but feel that the snail pit would be near the slime lake, right? And near that is some camp defenses, right? And the gates of war. So I'm going to say you wandered near there. You're busy kind of like, daubing random copy. Well, you said, what's the page, did you say? It's about the author.
Also by this author. But what makes these defenses so camp?
So you're on these big stakes and the gates, you're kind of smearing all this dirt, which has which is mainly the important words
he doesn't
they don't know the
Meridrath's
fantabulous hexararmory or whatever. Clearly this is going to draw people straight to your gig.
It's very wizardy.
It is very wizardy, and you've made some very impressive large letters. No one could ever deny that. During the course of it, you're moving along, and you realize that there's near the gate where you're doing it, there's this weird hatch in the ground. It's big and it's metal, and it's got this weird semi-clear thing on, and a thing that looks like that writing that the humans do, where the writing means how many things there are. It's got one of those on it, one of the things they have when for some reason, humans don't seem to be able to just keep how many of a thing there is in their head. So they occasionally write it down on things. No, well, it's insane. Why would anyone want to do that? But anyway, there's a big metal hatch on the ground with a number painted on it. And you kind of there. And obviously, what else do you have to do with a hatch other than to jump up and down on it?
It's a hatch is like a hole that hasn't happened yet.
It's a green rag to a goblin, and as you're jumping up and down on it, it makes a little noise, a little clunking noise, and starts to open. You hop off, thinking, "Hey, maybe there's someone in here who could really help you with this promo." But unfortunately, what is in there is a human in a jumpsuit. A red jumpsuit who staggers out of the hatch in the ground, waves what looks awfully like a laser pistol around, almost offhandedly and casually shoots you in the head with it. Festa, again, obviously, Festa's dead, and is rounds on the rest of the goblins, starts shrieking out loud, accusing you of being tiny mutant traitors, and just starts opening laser fire while diving into cover at one side in the defenses. If anyone's interested, and they probably already guessed, this comes from the Misfortune table, Terror from Another Game. So, yeah. You're in a bit of a pickle. You've set up some nice art, but now there's a human who's teleported themselves from a game of paranoia who now wants to shoot you all in the head with their laser pistol. So
I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't have green clearance.
he definitely does not have green clearance. You are now Smack the Flat Nose, as you've said, who has that t-shirt with Smack written on it. But Smack, Justin, has a character class. And the character class is this. Smack is a meat thief.
Cool.
Stealing steaks, purloining loins, pilfering poultry, appropriating roasts, borrowing beef, rustling ribs and pinching pork. Butchers beware, no matter the cut, you'll do whatever it takes to get it into your gristly hands and squirreled away in an horrible pocket. So there we go. Who is going next? I think is anyone but Justin. How are we dealing with this human? And while also promoting our gig.
I think, right, this gun, this laser gun that shoots light into the air is a fantastic way to act as a beacon from wherever we are.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump on this strange red-suited human and try and take their laser gun off them.
Absolutely. By the way, Justin, you said you rolled 3 die there. Was there a something bad or a something? There was a victory. And it was a victory.
I think it was something bad.
Something bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Wink, roll how many dice you want with a something bad, because a goblin struggling with a full-size human with a laser pistol is not. I mean, it's not good, is it?
No.
Not for you. For everyone watching, it's a wonderful few minutes of entertainment, but.
I am going to try and swing with my iron pan of negligible rancid grease.
Sure. So 2 dice at a -1. Definitely a good choice to add dice to this pool.
That is double ones. So, Wink
do you? I mean, you could use your reroll. Still, only Inga has rerolled.
I could, but I'm very aware that I'm the only one still on his first goblin, and I feel a bit bored, to be honest. I think Wink has had his day. Yeah,
Wink has had his day. Well, do you want to narrate? Or...
I mean, I
think we all know what's happened.
I think he jumps nobly, pan outstretched, ready to bring it down on the human's head, and then his face just disappears.
Yeah,
with the laser bolt to the face.
It's kind of mutant scum.
And he sort of his body just sort of lands on the floor with a wet thump sound, and the pan
rolls
falls at the
over
feet
to
falls at the feet of Nod, who has he just sort of was walking past.
What's Nod's distinguishing kind of quirk or feature or whatever it's called?
Nod has big ears.
Big ears. Nod does not have a class, just so you know. So there we go. You're on your. Are you on your 3rd or your 2nd there, Justin? What?
3rd.
I'm confused. You are on your 3rd. Yeah. That's right then. Okay. So it's open to everyone but Justin. Oh, Stephen Hodge, just want to concede, or I can roll?
I'll concede.
Pig Hitter sees that handheld laser device would be an excellent addition to our show. Using his incredible hubris, he is going to attempt to pull rank on this human and talk him into giving over the laser.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it's a flat roll, so go for
it. So that's just 1 dice plus incredible hubris. I couldn't work the jorts in, unfortunately.
The jorts haven't had a good. You would have thought during the costuming stage that they would have had their day.
Made jorts, but...
Surely the jorts getting involved depends on what you say as part of this discussion, as part of this role play, no?
I mean, the jorts are blue, so that's a high level of clearance.
This is true. I'm just trying to work out to what extent I can fudge it so that Pig Hitter is aware of the color scheme thing. Like he
doesn't need to be aware.
He's got absolutely no frame of reference for what a troubleshooter is. No, we're just gonna
We're just going to go with 2. Sure.
Yeah, that's an injury and something bad.
Again, you could take the reroll. They're out there, and people barely anyone's taken it.
Yeah, you know what? Like, let's go with the boss hat.
Go with the
Reroll.
boss hat. Inga sadly
Thanks,
takes off.
Inga.
Wow, how did you guys hand the hat to each other?
That's the magic of streaming. Okay, let's go
It
again.
really is exactly the same hat.
Yeah, it's uncanny.
Yeah.
That is. Oh, that's better. That's something bad and something good. So something good.
So something good. Do you want me or you?
I think there's something good is possibly just that, like, it works and we get the
really
laser gun.
confused.
It has nothing to do with the posters.
But that would be a victory, I think. I think that something good might be that the human, you just really confused him.
Okay, we'll go with that. As I said, like what we're currently trying to do is make posters, and this does not help with that at all. But
It's true. But maybe the laser pistol could be used to shoot some.
That's true. Okay,
Scorch some walls. I don't know.
I will leave it up to you then whether or not I can come out of this encounter with a laser pistol.
I think I definitely think getting the laser pistol is more than just something. I think something good in this circumstance is the human has stopped firing for a moment.
Yeah, sure. We get a brief ceasefire. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Holly, did you want to pick up next or?
Yeah. So, seeing the attempt by Wink fail miserably against this glorious foe who has this delightful weapon, Flunk's going to withdraw their ancestral heirloom, which is the twig of selective deathing. Has a grand history of killing people, as in they pointed at one person one time and they had a heart attack. And is going to...
Now, some cynics would say that the recollection and timing of that is a bit off, and what more happened was that someone had a heart attack and the goblins poked the body with a
Yeah. No, that is entirely up. Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
There is
Lost
argument
the
over
vagaries
it.
of
There is
time.
argument over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to dive out from behind cover and point the twig at the human.
Sure.
In the hope that kills them. I don't know.
And you get a good thing on the roll, so you know.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. So something good on the roll, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is a 4 and a 7.
4 and a 7. Okay. Do you want me to? I've got something if you
Go
want,
for
but
it.
it's
Go for
okay.
it.
Okay. I think you leap out on this human, point the twig, authoritatively, threateningly, and with gravitas. The human wheels round to you, instantly fires the laser pistol at you, but neglects. You know, I think Nod is stood near you, kind of like, oh, now I have the pan. The shot reflects off the pan of Nod stood just behind you, poof, directly into this individual's head, and they kind of stood there for a second and go, I have no credits left, and topple over backwards, dead on the ground, dead human, laser pistol lying there.
Yeah,
And I think there's something good, you know.
Yeah.
You really lifted
it's-
people's
yeah.
spirits by killing him with the twig.
Oh, it's
So-
yeah. So yeah, literally while this is going on, as soon as he drops, regardless of the pan behind them, you know, Flunk just goes, it works. It always
Absolutely.
works.
It always works. Inga, you're the one remaining. We are quite away from completing this stage, so we know. So even with 3 victories, we have a way to go.
I think now that this other new thing has been handled, and we've got something on the way with posters that in terms of the smearing that was done earlier. There's something in that. I think, of course, is going to think about the flyers and remembering what happened to their to Yes, has remembered that orcs can help you fly, and so of course is going to, and of course being a vampire is much stronger than any other goblin. So, of course, is going to go and antagonize an orc into hitting them so that as they fly across a swarm of goblins, they can yell out, "Come on!" to advertise the show.
Now, see, your mic went a bit weird there, and
It's good.
what you just shrieked was just an aimless machine noise. But I think that's fine.
No notes.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely
To be honest,
perfect.
it probably is almost exactly how it's going to sound when you're flying across the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
So
was basically just antagonize orc to get smacked to fly across the goblins and advertise by screaming, "See our back!"
sure, yeah. But
So,
for
yeah,
us, it was
probably
like
what you have.
and as I go over their heads, I just scream, and that also works. I think you get something bad from Holly. Is that right? Was there something bad? It was a 7 and a something
No,
else.
it was something good because it was a 7.
4. Was
it was a 6 and a 3 that turned into a 7 and a 4.
Okay, so something good. So there are always orcs nearby. A couple of them probably ran over to see what all this laser pistoling was about. So go ahead and roll your dice with a something good.
I'm going to roll with the extra one for being a vampire because that's bolstering my strength. I think
Yeah,
it's going to all work out perfectly.
Yeah, and also vampires are natural flyers.
Also true, yeah. Well, that's a 4 and a 5 on the dice, which becomes a 5 and a 6.
Wow.
Amazing.
So 2 successes.
How can they not know where
Genuinely
the show is
amazing.
going to be?
Genuinely unbelievable. So, me or you? Oh no, I've just broken everyone. Me or you?
Over to you.
Sure. So, the natural reaction to this human falling over, Flunk picking up the laser pistol with a kind of like even more of a glow in their eyes than normal, is of course reacts instantly to this by just running bodily over to the nearest orc and kind of like Inga, can you give us as a heavily accented and high pitched "I want to suck your blood"? Oh my god, we just got machine noise again.
I think Inga's goblin voice is outside of the range of the microphone.
Let's give that another go. Less extreme.
I'm switching mics. Hang on. Switch to the. Do I have another one? No, I don't. I can't do it. They want to suck your blood.
Yes. There we go. The orc just grabs, of course, by the collar of that cloak, which of course is now dripping with glowing snail goo now, and just kind of like, I don't want to make it seem like the orc is paying any attention to this whatsoever. They literally kind of like just glance and then just hoy you over like a good 20 feet over the camp. And you know what? Are you just shouting "See our band"?
Yeah, come see our band.
Come see our band. And you know what? You fly 20 feet. You land in a very soft pile of discarded linens, bits of poo and bits of other goblins. You have a very safe landing. And when you do, of course, like you are, because you look down and you saw faces looking up at you, listening to every word you said, eyes open, open wide, mouths agape at the glory of this. I mean, they were all goblins, and most of them were the goblins in the band, but still, that is a good 2 or 3 goblins who are definitely going to come see the band wherever and whenever they play. Not that you gave them that information, but wow.
I mean,
People heard you, you know?
Smack didn't even know what we were doing until that happened.
Exactly. So you can be sure, if nothing else, you can be sure that the band will be at their gig now. And that's a victory by anyone's imagination. But still not enough victory to get through this stage. So I think we're round to a whole new round now, yes? Is anyone leaping in, or shall I roll?
I think there's only one solution here, which is Flunk charging forward, shooting the laser pistol in the sky as much as possible, and repeating "See our band."
Of course, has laid the groundwork.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got to just bring it home, you know.
Absolutely, go for it then. So that was. I don't think there was something good or bad on there, right? That was just 2 victories. So
yeah, it was just a straight roll.
yeah.
Now, do we think me being over caffeinated is going to aid this?
I can't see how it wouldn't. Cannot see how it wouldn't.
How about creating distractions as well?
I mean, you could argue that what the opposite of what you to do is to create a distraction, but still, you're experienced at making lots of noise, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's give this a go. Okay, so that's a 5 and a 6. So we're doing well, and we get something good.
Okay. Well, that's a victory. That's this task completed. So so I'll step in if you don't mind. Yeah, you run behind, of course, kind of like reaching the kind of end of that parabola in the rubbish pile, firing the gun in the air behind them, yelling to everyone can hear. Cynics might say it's exactly the same people who just heard, of course, yell. But still, again, you know, these are people who will definitely be there, especially now that, you know, they've had the information they already knew reinforced to them with the firing of a laser. And in fact, I'm going to say even a few, you know, bugbears and orcs wander over to see what all the noise is about. They hear about it, you know. Some of them roll their eyes and turn away, but that, you know, to a goblin, that's an extremely positive reaction. They didn't kill you, and nor on your bones. Ergo, they'll go see your band. What else? You know, those are the 2 sides of the same emotional coin. So you're there, and I think the good thing is that the laser pistol is not out of charge and can be used for whatever step comes next. So with that in mind, that's the completion of our second task, folks. I'm not going to describe what their costume is again, because honestly, I'm in fear of making people slightly physically ill. But what it is a triumph. And I think we can say that I've been in quite a few bands in my lifetime, and I don't think we've ever had a marketing success quite so impressive as killing someone, taking their weapon and firing it in the air and yelling about it. I think if I had, then people would still be talking about those gigs.
Yeah, even having not yet done the gig, I think people will be talking about Pig Hitter and the We Saw a Wizard for days to come.
It's a slam dunk.
If only they knew our name. Probably should have mentioned that.
Yeah. It's a slam dunk. So with that in mind, we're going to take another 10-minute break, folks, and then we'll come back for the final task, where we will be finding a stage, getting a fight to happen to drag more people in, and then playing the damn gig. So there we go. We'll hop onto a 10-minute break now. We will see you soon.